Hi everyone. Okay, let's have a look at exercise 4 solution. Um, First question is total fixed cost. So when we went over the exercise itself to try to prep you for the actual completion of the exercise, we talked about a few of the different expenses. Okay, so now we're going to break them down between the total fixed cost and the variable cost per client. So the bus and driver 2,500 per day. And remember, what they're doing is they're breaking it down per day because this company, this travel tour company, does different length trips. So they could actually modify this if they decided for it to be a 7-day trip, okay? And then they could figure what the fixed cost would be if it was a 7-day trip or a 10-day trip or a 3-day trip. But in this case, it's a 5-day trip. So we need to look at bus and driver at 2,500 per day and 5-day trip. So therefore it's $12,500 for the bus driver. Travel guide, 500 per day, 500 times your 5 days, 2,500. Advertising, it's a flat amount. So it's just $1,000. Meals, that's per client, so that is your variable. Hotel room, client-based, so that's variable. Events and attractions, again, that's client-based, so that's variable. Other fixed costs, that's $1,000 to add to the fixed cost to give you total fixed costs for this 5-day trip of $17,000. Okay, so now let's have a look at the variable costs. Okay, so again, it's per client. So we're going to look at the meals, breakfast. 4 breakfasts during this 5-day trip. Okay, so we have 4 breakfasts times $5 per breakfast is $20. So that's $20 for breakfast per client. Then we have dinners, 5 dinners at $20 per dinner. Obviously, lunches are on your own, as a lot of tour companies do. So this one here, dinners are built into the price that the client pays. So $20 per dinner times 5 dinners is $100 for dinners per client. Hotel room, same thing. There's 4 nights. So 4 nights at $60 a piece. Obviously, they're sharing rooms. So it's $60 times 4 nights is $240 per client for the hotel rooms. And then the events and attractions, they're going to 7 different events, $40 per event, so that's $280 per client. And miscellaneous per person is $100. So therefore, for this event, the variable costs associated with each customer or client is $740. Okay, so your contribution margin, um, we know what the formula is. It's price per client minus variable cost per client gives you contribution margin per client. And we just figured out what the variable costs were per client. And in the information up above, it says price per client. So that's going to be 1,700 minus variable cost of 740 gives you a contribution margin of 760. Part 4 is the profit variance ratio, sorry, profit volume ratio, your PV ratio. So therefore, you've got your contribution margin divided by your price equals 0.565, or as we used to do when we did vertical analysis, it's 56.5%. Okay, so now the number of clients needed to break even. Your fixed costs, right, divided by your contribution per client. So every client you have contributes $960 towards covering the fixed costs. So 17,000 fixed costs divided by 960 contribution margin per client equals 17.7 clients. Now, while that's not realistic, we can't really do 17.7 clients, so we need to round that up to 18 clients. Okay, so then 18 times, and it's 1700, that gives us the number that they've got there for your revenue, 30,090. It's not really realistic. They've taken 17.7 clients, which isn't possible. So you have to round it to 18, right? Because you want to at least break even. If you round it down to 17, you're not going to break even. You're going to be in the hole a little bit. Round it up to 18. 18 times your price per client of 1,700. Therefore, your revenue is going to be $30,600. Okay, so the next one, part 6, the number of clients needed if Parkway wants to generate a $5,000 profit, because nobody wants to break even. Okay, you want to at least break even, but you want a profit as well. Okay, so hopefully you remember what the formula is. If you want to have a profit, then not only do you want the contributions per client to cover the fixed costs, you want them to actually cover the fixed costs plus your projected profit. So therefore the formula would be fixed costs plus profit divided by the contribution per client. Okay, so your number of clients with for a $5,000 profit, your 17,000 plus your 5 gives you a total of 22,000. Fixed cost plus profit objective, 22,000 divided by your 960 per client equals 22.9. Again, you can't have 22.9 clients, so you have 23. And then how much revenue is that? What would your formula be? 23 times 1,700, right? Because that is your price, right? Your price per client. So in order to figure out how much revenue that would give you, you would have your 23 times your 1,700 equals 39,100. Okay. From there, you can actually prove it. And if you remember back in one of the slides where we actually figured it out, you took figured out what the revenue was, 39,100, right? That's your sales revenue, minus your total variable costs. We know that our variable costs per client is 740. So what your total variable cost would be, so your 740 times 23 clients, what does that work out to? Let me see. 23 times 740 equals 17,020. Okay, and then if we've got, so your sales revenue was 39,600 minus 17,020 gives you a contribution margin of 22,580, right? Because we had to round up. Um, so 22,580 minus our fixed cost of 17,000 gives us a profit of $5,580. So we've met our profit objective of 5,000, and because we can't have partial clients, we have a little bit left over, which is our $580. Hopefully this helped. Again, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.